Hello everyone, it's Patricia and welcome to my channel. Today I have a warm review for two different collections. I have warmed through all the bricks for the 2018 holiday collection, and I've warmed through the Hygge Collection that was released earlier this month, I believe, or late November. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do all the bricks first, then we will do the Hygge Collection. Now for the bricks, I just basically warmed 1 cube out of 12. And for the Hygge Collection, I just basically warmed whatever I could in certain areas. I don't know how people are going through their wax as fast as they do, because the other thing is I have people messaging me and asking me to warm certain things and give my opinions to them. So I don't know, I can only get so much done. So anyway, but I'd like to share with you my thoughts on what I did warm. And, just in case, because the cutoff for Canada is coming up tomorrow, which is Monday. And then I believe Mexico and the US will follow in the next few days. So in case you want to order something, you need to know. So the first one we're going to talk about is Blizzard Berry. The notes on this are frosted winter berry, clementine zest, and sparkling sugar crystals. I find this is a fruity berry scent. It's a nice, I said it's like a berry mixed with shimmer. Someone else described it, I believe it might have been Christina Steinbook, I think. She described it as like a Luna note, and I can see that. But it's basically like almost like there's a little floral perfuming note mixed in with that blizzard berry, or the berry. This is more of a year-round scent to me. I would not just warm it at Christmas time. If you've been to Bath and Body Works and you've smelled Arctic Berry, to me they're somewhat similar. So if you're not sure what this smells like, head over to Bath and Body Works and see if you can smell out Arctic Berry. They're kind of similar. I warmed this in my open concept area. I would say strength and throw was like 7.5 out of 10. And it lasted a typical amount of time for that area for me. Now, waxes in that area do not last as long, so I won't necessarily tell you the time, but whatever room you warm this in, it'll probably last like an average amount of scent, like an average scent, how long that lasts for you in that room. So yeah, the fragrance on that is pretty good. I like it, I don't love it, but I do think it did fairly well. So let's talk about Blue Christmas. Blue Christmas, the notes on this are orange peels, cloves, fir needle, and cinnamon stick. Now, I definitely get the fir needles. I think that's the biggest note I pick up. A little bit of orange peels, clove. Hard to say. I don't think so. And cinnamon, I don't think so. If you're scared of cinnamon, I would still give Blue Christmas a try. I find I do not smell very much spices in it at all. To me, it's a slightly masculine twist on a Christmas tree scent. So very bright, fresh, a little bit of an oceanic kind of like undertone to this. Very, very nice. This is probably one of my favorite ones out of the bricks. I warmed this downstairs in my open concept area as well. Strength and throw was about 7.5 out of 10. And I would say it didn't last quite as long as the average scent does. Maybe it wore off a little bit, but I didn't really mind because I love the scent so much that it was worth it. Really nice scent. Highly recommend Blue Christmas if you like that kind of slightly masculine vibe. The next one we're going to talk about is Christmas Cottage. The notes on Christmas Cottage are Valencia orange, raspberries, cloves, and spices. So when I first smelled this, as soon as it came, it was very, very cold, and I could definitely pick up tons and tons of orange. When it's at room temperature a little bit more, I find you do not pick up that note quite as much. I find it's like a mixture of raspberry and orange, but then about equal amounts of cinnamon. It says it has cloves. I don't pick up cloves. If you hate cloves, I think you'll still like the scent. But this is very cinnamon dominant. Extremely cinnamon dominant. It's kind of like a bit of a hot, spicy potpourri. So, but I love it. I mean, I don't remember liking it this much last year, but I really, really liked it this year when I warmed it. I would say strength and throw was like 8 out of 10. I warmed some in my bonus room and some in my son's room. And it lasts quite a long time. So if you're looking for scents that last a while, this is what you want to go with. If you like cinnamon, also this is what you want to go with. This is a fan favorite, and that's why they usually bring back, I think, a bar that's a fan favorite or that does really well. So the next one we're going to talk about is Cranberry and Tinsel. So Cranberry and Tinsel, the notes on this are mulled cranberries, Siberian fir needle, and cedarwood. So I describe this as like a rich, deep, sophisticated cranberry. It must be that mulled cranberry, like you kind of get all those like depth, and it gives it more, I don't know, it's a very sophisticated version. It's like cranberry and garland with the volume turned up. I definitely smell a little bit more cranberry than I do the Siberian fir. I would say 60-40. As it warms, it's very, very strong. I would say 9 out of 10 strength and throw. I warmed some in my mudroom, laundry room, and I warmed some in my daughter's room. So she wasn't crazy about it warming in her room, but it was fairly intense, but it does kind of die off a little bit faster. So once that cranberry note kind of dies off, you're left with a light fir needle cedarwood note. So if you were going to warm this for company and you weren't sure, you know, how they could handle the intenseness of it, maybe put it in quite a few hours before they come so that some of that intenseness is wore off, and then you're left with a little bit of softer vibe. But yeah, I really, really like this. And look at the packaging, it's just gorgeous. That is well liked by a lot of people as well, so I don't think you can go wrong with Cranberry and Tinsel. Now we're going to talk about Ginger and Spruce. Now this is kind of the dark horse. I don't know if people kind of knew what to expect with this one. Okay, this has notes of spruce, fresh ginger, and cassis. Okay, do I smell spruce? Not very much. Do I smell fresh ginger? Not very much. I smell like a dried ginger. Kind of like you're making your ginger cookies and you take that dry spice out, and it has that soft note. Fresh ginger is very like zingy and in your face and fiery. I don't get that with this. I get the dried ginger. So if you know the difference, if you are a cook and a baker, you will definitely know the difference. Cassis, which is like a black currant, I believe, like a liqueur note. I do not smell that either. So I don't know. Either my nose is way off or these notes are strange. But this one, let me tell you what I get. This is going to sound strange. Okay. When you put like mint chewing gum in your mouth, you know how intensely minty it is at the beginning? And then after a bit it dies down to like a more mellow mint? Like a not a spearmint, almost like a peppermint and spearmint combined. Very mellow. That's what I get, but I get that dry ginger smell and maybe like 5% tree. That's what I get. Now, this strength and throw on this is about 7 out of 10. But let me tell you something. This sucker lasts and lasts and lasts forever. It was definitely the longest lasting brick scent of the 5 that we have. So I don't know if it's probably one of those ones that you're going to want to try for yourself. To me, like I said, I get a mint characteristic, a very mellow mint with a twinge of that dried ginger. It's a pretty nice scent, probably medium scent appeal for me, but it's one of those scents that if you like to put your scents in and just let her go and not worry about it for a few days, you could probably do that with this one. And the other thing is, it does not scream like winter Christmas to me. You could probably warm this other times of the year and get away with it. So in general, I would say if you want a strong brick for strong intensity, I would go with Christmas Cottage or Cranberry and Tinsel. If you want bricks that last a long time, I would say go with Ginger and Spruce and Christmas Cottage. If you want a brick that's a little bit more versatile that you can warm any time of the year, I would say definitely go with Blizzard Berry. And maybe if you're flirting a little bit with Rebellion, you can chuck that one in as well. And if you want, for me, my favorite on scent appeal that I would probably pick out of all of them would be Blue Christmas. So that's my brick summary. Let's move on to the Hygge Collection. So we have 5 bars. So again, this series of scents are inspired by the Danish concept of comfort. So we're going to keep that in mind when we're reviewing the scents. We're going to start with Calming Woods because that's the first one on the list. I warmed this in my daughter's room. 2 cubes. It is vanilla bean, creamy sandalwood, and rich cedarwood. Okay, so on cold, I thought I was going to like it, not love this. To me, it's a combination of green calcite and satin sheets put together. And usually I do not like to describe a scent with 2 other scents, but probably if you're watching my videos, you're probably a bit of a Scentsy addict and you might have smelled either of those. But basically it's got like a twinge of like a sandalwood, but to me it has a little bit, like I think the cedarwood is what's giving it that masculine vibe. And it almost smells, I don't want to say musty, I don't really know. This one, strength and throw was about 6.5 out of 10. It was definitely long lasting, but on warm, I really did not like this one, Calming Woods. It was definitely not my favorite. I'll probably be putting it in warmers that I don't really smell very often throughout my home. So anyway, if you like Calming Woods, sorry, but it's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite on warm. Okay, Cozy Kitchen. Now, let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. This was my favorite of the bars. I warmed this down in my open concept area. It is warm oats, brown sugar, and cinnamon. Basically, I described it as Quaker oatmeal, maple and brown sugar, but take out the maple. And also I'm warming rum raisin cookie downstairs. It reminds me a little bit of this, but rum raisin cookie, you can definitely smell that raisin. So if you took out the raisin from the rum raisin cookie, you might have something similar to this if you're familiar with either of those scents. It did really well. I would say strength and throw was almost like 8 out of 10, and it lasted a fair amount of time. It was a soft, comforting presence. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Definitely when you walked in the room, you just smelled like a wonderful bakery had just pulled out some oatmeal cookies out of the oven and you sprinkled them with like a dusting of cinnamon. It was very, very nice. So if you want your home to smell warm and cozy, like you just baked something wonderful, pick up some Cozy Kitchen. It's great. 2 thumbs up for that one. Definitely cozy. The next one, Quiet Clementine. I only warmed 1 cube of this so far. So maybe not the greatest judge, but we'll still give it a go. The scent notes are sweet orange, vanilla orchid, and sandalwood. Okay, so this one on cold, it's not my favorite. I kind of want the Clementine to be bumped up, but on saying that, if that happened, it wouldn't be cozy anymore. It'd be like fresh and vibrant. So I think that's why it's kind of like a low level Clementine orange scent. But I would say it's cozy, but this is what it reminds me of. And this is very strange, but we're going to go with it. Okay, so my parents are divorced, and when I used to go visit my dad up in Cape Breton, that's where he lived. And nowadays you'd probably get arrested for something like this. But anyway, my dad used to smoke. And what he would do is roll his own cigarettes. You know, you have a little machine, you put the tobacco in, you go ch-ch, and it makes a little cigarette. So I remember I'd be like 7 or 8 years old and I'd ask my dad if I could make some of his cigarettes for him. Anyway, so that's what it reminds me of. Something about this reminds me of that. I don't know, like, I'm not saying it smells like cigarettes, but maybe like that sweetness of the tobacco, or maybe the smell of my dad, or something. Something reminds me of that. So this is a very strange scent. Now, just on the flip side, when I used to make my dad cigarettes, he would make fun of me because he said, Patricia, you're rolling them way too tight. Like, so I'd packed way too much tobacco in and he couldn't smoke them very well. And so then on the flip side, I would barely put any tobacco and he'd light it. It would just be gone. But anyway, like I said, it does not smell like cigarettes, but it smells like that's because tobacco does have like a little sweet smell. And maybe my dad smelled like oranges. I don't know. But anyway, that's what it brings me back to. It's not my favorite. Maybe I don't like that part of my life, but which is good. I don't promote smoking, so let's move on. So yeah, I would say slightly cozy, not my favorite. I would say my second least favorite out of the bunch. Toasty Cabin. Toasty Cabin I have going down in my son's room right now, so I will probably have to edit this video in the comments box and let you know how long it lasted, but I can tell you strength and throw is quite high, 8.5, I would say, out of 10, or maybe even 9 out of 10. It's pretty intense. The notes on this are bergamot zest, black pepper, wild fern, and acacia wood. Now, if this scent doesn't sell well, Scentsy can only blame itself for the strange scent notes. So, in my opinion, they should have left out the black pepper. I'm not saying I can't get black pepper. I don't know if I get it. But it's like when you're telling your kids, you know, if they say, "What am I eating?" You're not going to tell them all the details because it scares them. So as soon as people see black pepper, they get scared of this scent and they're not going to buy it. And then it's going to be in the clearance for a long time. But anyway, so next time, Scentsy, leave out black pepper. Like, the only thing you should tell people black pepper is, and you want to be a cozy scent, is say like mashed potatoes. Anyway, so this scent is not as cozy for me as the others. It's cozy in the sense that if you were warming this and your husband or male spouse was nice and dressed up, like just got out of the shower, nice and clean and fresh, and you were cuddling on the sofa with him, that's what this smells like. Like, it's very intense. Yeah, I don't know. It's very masculine. I do like it. I don't love it. Sorry, I'm opening and closing again. But it's a definitely strong in the strength and throw department. We'll see how long it lasts. But if it lasts a long time, then that's going to be a good performer. A very fresh, clean, masculine scent. I don't really smell pepper. Bergamot is kind of like a citrus vibe. And the fern and the acacia wood. It definitely does have woodsy notes, and I think that's why it's called Toasty Cabin, because a cabin in the woods. So we'll see how that one does. I have a feeling it's not going to do great, and like I said, they probably should have left out the pepper note, but anyway. Okay, last one is woolly slippers. Woolly slippers. I warmed this right here in my bedroom. The notes are sweet lavender, marshmallow, and vanilla. If you know me at all, you know I do not like lavender, but this I really, really liked. It was really cozy and great. Even smelling it here, the lavender to me is very sweet. I definitely get marshmallow and vanilla way more than the lavender. People are getting different notes from this, but that's what I pick up. I definitely wanted the scent, like, I wanted more. I wanted it pushed up a little bit. It's a lighter scent. I wish it was a little bit more. So as you can see, I warmed 3 cubes. I did make samples with a little bit of this for one of my customers, but I think this is a scent that you might want to bump up your cubes a little bit. If you normally use 2, you might want to use 3, that kind of thing. So I loved it. It was a little too light for me. I might pick up 1 more bar if I can before, you know, the collection goes away. But yeah, it's good. It's good. So if I was going to pick up more bars of this, I would probably pick up 1 of this, 0 Toasty Cabins, just because it's not a big thing. I did not really love the Quiet Clementine. I'd probably pick up like a 4-pack of this. And Calming Winds I really didn't like on warm, so I'm kind of disappointed with that. So this collection for me was a bit of a, you know, 50-50 kind of thing. I definitely like these 2 scents, but really the only standout for me was this in performance and scent, and this in scent and not so much performance. So that's all you have. It's a little bit of a long video today. Hopefully it was helpful in some way. If these kind of videos are helpful for you, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up, because sometimes I'm not sure if you're benefiting from these kind of videos, but I definitely want to get the word out in case you're on the fence about your purchases. I try to be as honest as I can, and remember, all these opinions are just my own. Please comment below if you've had any different experiences with any of these scents, so that the viewers that are watching this video can learn from your experience as well. I'd like to thank you for spending the last 20 minutes with me. As always, I hope you have a great day in your neck of the woods. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.